of it, take ethereal fucking nonsense out of it. And in this world that we live in, where we sign a fucking contract, you signed that contract. Therefore, you have a responsibility for that fucking contract. Own up to it. And that's the reason why it sounds like on one end of it, it sounds like we're having a man responsibility of it because it's a targeted conversation.
Look at us glasses. What do we do with them? What do we do?
Well, you just let the wheat grow with the tare and let him do the separating when he comes.
Feels good to be me.
Meow, 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 meow.
Where you been, boy?
Meow, 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 meow.
Up in the sycamore tree.
Meow, 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 meow.
Now where my Jesus freaks at? Jesus freak at.
Jesus freak
I guess I'm just a Jesus freak at.
Jesus freak
Uh-huh.
Meow, 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 meow.
Now watch me walk up on that water. Walking on top of what I used to drown in. When you see me, you see the Father. We be 3 in 1, I go read about it. Apostolic like Sister Betty. Lately I've been cutting up niggas like confetti. Cause he's coming back, I gotta get ready. And if you start to asking questions, tell him I'm a Jesus freaker.
Jesus freak
Did you hear me stuttering? I'm a Jesus freaker.
Jesus freak
I'm a Jesus freaker.
Jesus freak
Just tell him I'm a Jesus freaker.
Jesus freak
Yeah. And when they see me walk up in the lobby, hear the rumors or hear the gossip, bruh. If you gon' tell it, then go tell it right. Cause the tea I'm about to spill don't need no ice. So you can back it up, but you ain't my type. Cause I don't hang around with Antichrist. Accusers of the brethren. But undercover sinning again and again and again. Just like the rapture, they don't see it coming. I feel the love of Christ when I watch the Muppets. At least they ain't pretending they a puppet. You just pretend you hate it, but you love it. Jesus freaker.
Jesus freak
Yeah, you're staring at a Jesus freaker.
Jesus freak
I ain't ashamed, I'm a Jesus freaker.
Jesus freak
And you ain't gotta ask around, I'm a Jesus freaker.
Jesus freak
What you Apostolic silent prophet stepping out the ice limo. You can take a flick while I adjust my halo. Ooh, hello. And when I snatch the mic and I rock the mic, add the echo. And I'm shining, I'm divine. I serve the true vine. And pop the pop, pop the top, pop of the Martinelli's kind of direct shot. Apostolic like Sister Betty. Flesh is a big fly. It's kinda dangerous like lifting weights and flip-flops. And anybody who don't like it, they can kick rocks. Feed me power pellets like my name was Chomp Chomp. Let me see you get loud. All my Jesus freaks getting rowdy. All my murder summer days is uncloudy. Talk your junk, but you ain't gon' make me doubt on. If you wanna know why, because I know too much about him, I'm a Jesus freaker.
Jesus freak
Don't look around, I'm a Jesus freaker.
Jesus freak
So tell me now where I'm a Jesus freak's at.
Jesus freak
If you ain't ashamed to tell me where them Jesus freaks at.
Jesus freak
Let me tell me where them Jesus freaks at.
Jesus freak
And tell me where them Jesus freaks at.
Jesus freak
And tell me where them Jesus freaks at.
Jesus freak
Just tell me where them Jesus freaks head for the team. Took a bullet for the dream that we would one day all be free, free from prejudice, free from sexism, free from bigotry. I die for creativity, I die for freedom to be free. I died and left a legacy. Oh, but baby, I still live through technology. After the sun, comes the rain. And after the storm, the sun will start shining. Last tears of pain, and tears of pain, and tears of pain, and a dash of struggle. Just be patient. Your destiny will manifest. Yes, forwards in the step.
What is going on, y'all? What is going on? What's going on? What's going on? Listen, y'all gonna have to forgive me. I was trying to be here earlier. As y'all know, for those of you who follow me and the shit that I be doing, okay, that I am editing this last chapter, which is chapter 3 for my, again, Black Gay mini doc series entitled Wonderfully Made. If you want to hear the actual experiences of a Black queer child growing up in a heterosexual world, and even to this day is still healing aspects of myself that I chose to suppress because of the fear and ignorance of others, you can definitely go ahead and check that out. Okay, we got chapter 1 and 2 already up. Make sure y'all go over there and hit the like button. Make sure y'all share, and if you like the vibe over here, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. Okay, but tonight, this morning, whenever you're listening to this, okay, again, there's this new saying going around that I am starting to really somewhat like, okay, because again, when it's across the board, I don't give a fuck. The FAFO, fucking around and finding out, okay? I have been told personally, along with the individual that we're going to be speaking about tonight and using some of his own words to really just hit the hammer on the head, girl. What? Hit the hammer on the head of the nail, girl. Putting that last nail in the coffin in reference to the bullshit and foolishness and fuckery. Okay? But just like him, I was told that, again, we were fear-mongering, that queer people don't have to worry about shit, that Black people don't have to worry about shit, that we were just whining and complaining, that we were the ones that had privilege. That's the gag. The people who had privilege saying that we got privilege. What? All that type of shit, and now we are here. And now that we are here, I don't hear nor see the same bravado from the individuals who claim to be the light bearers and the individuals who are on the right side of truth. But see, that's why they say be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it. A particular panel got an individual that was manifested into their stratosphere by the name of Boss Man, or the Objectivist, is what I call him. Again, a weapon that was supposed to be used against me, but because I understand and truly respect the power of love, all I had to do was just sit back and allow the universe to do what the fuck it was gonna do. And now that it has done that, what I'm gonna do is give my recap on that accountability coming through the lion's den and the wolf's den. And the gag is, the majority of the wolves ain't barking, they ain't howling, not a damn thing. Now, the little clip I played in the beginning before we started this live with the song again entitled Jesus Freak by B-Slade. Make sure y'all go stream that today and support B-Slade. He is awesome. Okay? You'll be able to hear more about him in chapter 2 because he was influential in reference to me learning how to love myself, especially on my way out of organized religion. Go, let me shut up because y'all know how I can be. Anyway, before we get into this, boom. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, we gonna give that, commentary, news reporting, shout out to Bossman for that, teaching, shout out to Bossman for that, scholarship, education, and research, again, shout out to Bossman for that. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. All the videos, songs, images, and graphics used in this live belong to their respective owners, and BubzDaGawd does not claim any right over them. Okay? So, with that the fuck being said, y'all like my little picture? My little I told you so, I talk girl, told you so logo picture, thumbnail, whatever it's called, avatar. What we're going to do this morning is we're going to take a few snippets and excerpts from Bossman's live. Okay? The first live we ever did before he started talking about the gay shit and the trans shit, the shit them fear-based niggas really wanted him to attack. Okay? To help them hide behind their fears and ignorances. He said, before we get into all that, I want you to understand that theocracy is on the way, and that is more dangerous than anything that a fag or a dyke or a trainee could do. Okay? And when we talk about statistically, who really out here doing the horrible shit? And again, he did LGBT Conundrum Part 1. And out of all of the series of stuff that he has done, unfortunately, that is the one with the most views, if I'm not mistaken. Because again, that platform is not really a platform that wants to learn to do better. They want to learn more to hide behind and shield themselves from accountability. Okay? But again, that same weapon that was used, or that was trying to be wielded to be used against the queer community, actually spoke in allyship to it. Still calling it out objectively, but understanding also the objective mission, which is that God is love. And whatever God got a problem with, God has no problem dealing with it on its own. It don't need your help. If anything, let the Christian tell it, it's the other way around. But anyway, we're going to get into that live, okay? So with that being said, I ask that you please like the video, okay? Make sure you share it. This one's not going down. Okay, I kind of got my kikis last night, but this some real true objective shit, okay? Because again, no shade, I have a strong feeling that there is going to be some disturbance in a certain particular red pill community's kingdom. And it's not going to be on the fault of the individual who is bringing truth. It's going to be on the fault of those who are having this nigga come in to strengthen their walls of fear and ignorance when he was really coming to tear that bitch down. That's what happens when you're on the real side of truth, objectively. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into that really quick. Make sure y'all go ahead and subscribe to Bossman. The link for the entire video that he has done, again, part 5 of the religious conundrum, girl, we on part 5 and still ain't getting shit, okay? You can watch it by clicking the link down below. Don't just take my word for it or his word for it. Also study to show thyself approved, please. That's how you really gonna help humanity, by actually doing your work. But anyway, let's get in, ladies and gentlemen. Excerpts and clips, okay, recap of episode 5 of the religiosity conundrum, okay? Church and state, girl. Your religion and your vote, and how damaging that shit can and unfortunately will be. Let's get in.
Part 5, religion versus politics, or religious v politics. Sorry, religion v politics. The religious vote gone politically wrong. Now, all the way up to this point, sorry, I'm getting some feedback here. all the way up until this point, we have basically taken a moment and taken a look, for the most part, at religion from its core, and specifically Christianity, all the way up to it from its core, at least from what I believe, what I find to be its core. And basically how we got here, for the most part, from the Nicene Council. And we've kind of even talked about how we got here from even before then. Talked about it, deliberated about it with Mr. Bennett. So, Mr. Bennett, appreciate you for always taking a moment to volley back and forth with me about this objectively. So I appreciate it.
And shout out to Mr. Bennett. Shout out to him.
Bringing it forward to now, for the most part, even through how it's been briefly, how it's been weaponized throughout history, and we're still not kind of done with that topic to some degree, because we're going to get into that to some degree. Because tonight we're going to talk about essentially how it's been used politically, or at least attempted to be used politically. But first, check this out. My daughter found something, and I have to share it. All right, I have to share it. All right, if I can find it. Here it is, right here. This is Donnie and his mother. Check out what his mother said about him.
What the mommy say?
You know, oh mother, yes, he is an idiot with zero common sense and no social skills, but he is my son. I just hope he never gets into politics. He'd be a disaster.
Yes. He the hard hell he. Yes. Shout out to Boss Man. Cause see, Boss Man, let me tell you something. When you've been paying attention to the information, he shares so much. A lot of the questions that so many people have that are religious, especially black religious people, all the questions they have, this individual has studied to show himself approved, to provide answers, and then challenge them to check it for themselves, but yet ain't nobody over there doing it. Because when it's time to learn something, there's really nobody in the chat. Doesn't mean they're not watching. Doesn't mean they're not speaking. That the Pharisees and Sadducees as spirit is not speaking amongst the brethren in the background. But yet when the opportunity comes to objectively check a man, and on top of that, again, a man who is effeminate in his expression and energy, let y'all tell it and define it. That at any moment, where are the real men that will come up there and make sure to check this effeminate man and tell him, look, even though you in our space, you will respect us. But if you actually go ahead and watch few of his lives on that platform, baby, Boss Man decided to go ahead and flex his masculine energy, but also knows how to blend in that feminine energy, that mama energy. You know how mommy always knows best? Just like how Donald Trump mom said, quote, yes, he's an idiot with zero common sense and no social skills, but he is my son. So the same way y'all be feel, girl, I'm about to say something dark, girl. So I guess it ain't just the fags that feel some type of way, but he's still my son. He going to hell, and he's still my son. I just hope he never gets into politics. He'd be a disaster. And look where the fuck we at now. Let's not also forget the fact that Donald Trump was quoted to have said that if I were to run for a party, I would run for the Republicans because they are stupid. They're dumb. And oh my God. Wow, what a crazy self-prophecy that has been fulfilled. But again, as Boss Man was to go ahead and flex his energy, baby, wasn't nobody standing up to the motherfucking plate except one nigga. that I haven't seen back on that platform since, who has been hiding with his tail between his legs ever since, who called on his brethren to help him and to stand with me, agree with me, we're all a part of God's body. Girl, we standing together in the masculine body, and girl, everybody had their head in the sky, girl. Everybody was moving around like what's her name when she slapped the fuck out of Miss Sophia. Oop, time to go. Everybody was moving the shit. I ain't seen nothing. It's gonna rain on your head, nigga. I don't know what to tell you. It's gonna rain on your head. But ain't nobody stepping up. But had it been my black gay ass speaking with the same bravado on that platform, baby, you would think that these niggas were DL niggas the way they would have been lined up in the back waiting to come spend some time with me on screen, on live with the energy, girl. It would have been new niggas we ain't never seen before, nigga. Coming over to the park, girl. Then the after party, girl. All that shit. Meanwhile, this man is on this red pill alpha male platform, girl, and we are seeing who the real alpha male is. Because you're not just an alpha male by strength alone. But you also gonna have to have the intellect for that as well, and the energy and love for it, because the love is what keeps everything the fuck together. But anyway, let's continue.
I
So
thought that
Queen
would be
Stevie,
quite the icebreaker to get started. But obviously, there are those who seem to think he is quite the savior.
Mhm.
Oop.
Yeah,
Yes.
well,
Quite the disaster.
shameless plug.
Yes. Watch this.
Lover, and I'm not gonna lie, I do feel failed by the Christian.
Now, before we go forward, again, Boss Man has been trying his best to educate, but as you can see, there are some people who are scared. And then they're not only scared, they're scared and talking shit, but not talking shit publicly. I gotta believe talking shit privately. So he says, okay, well, let me get on y'all energy. So I'm gonna give y'all a little icebreaker, because y'all was talking hella shit about Kamala. Y'all was over here talking about hoes and bitches and stuff like that. If you can give it, you can receive it. No homo. So let's go ahead and do that with the icebreaker, girl, which also has some factual truth to it as well. And then now he's using the video about an individual who is Christian, who does believe in God, but is disappointed with Christians because, again, they're not honoring the Christ aspect, the love aspect, the inclusive aspect. You know, the actual things that Christ not only spoke about, but walked in. Yeah. And used it on that platform that claims that Jesus is King of Kings and Lord of Lords, girl. But yet can't walk that out. But anyway, let's listen to the example.
Community with the outcome of this election. I know that the Republican Party is really attractive to a lot of Christians because of their pro-life policy and because of how Republican members, party members, how they talk about Jesus and how they put him like on the forefront of their campaigns. But I don't think a lot of Christians thought past those two main points.
Sure didn't.
Because a lot of policies that Project 2025 and Donald Trump want to bring into that White House are going to be harmful to people who are alive right now. They're going to be harmful to Black people. They're going to be harmful to people in my community. And I don't think that everyone thought about that. I think because abortion is such a big topic, this is something that people talk about so much and it's so huge to them, it feels like a huge sin in the Christian community that if you get abortion, it's the worst thing you can do. It is the largest sin. Because of that idea, people don't realize that we are neglecting people who are here today. The people that Jesus told us to love before he left the earth. In the Bible, what he said, love your neighbor, love your brother. And I want y'all to know,
Now check this
me
out.
and Jesus are locked in.
I want
Like,
to point out something really quick, because a lot of times what I oftentimes heard from Christians, what I heard from, well, obviously pastors are Christians, but from Christian sympathizers, from pastors, from just about everyone, is I just cannot vote for the other side, even though their policies might make some sense, might need a little work, might need a little tweaking. The policies might make some sense, might need a little work, might need a little seasoning, might need a little elbow grease, but for the most part, I just can't vote for somebody because why? Because they believe that someone can love someone of the same gender, or someone believes that a man can be a woman, or someone believes something that is somewhere in the book. Hold on. Yeah. Somewhere in this book, the White Jesus Bible, somewhere in this good book, something that they stand for, the party aggregately, okay, they somewhat stand for. Therefore, because they do that, I can't vote for them. Never mind the real world consequences, the real corporeal consequences that that vote may ultimately entail and inexorably, entail. And it may lead to some sort of consequence, okay? And the government itself will tell you that it does not deal in the realm of opinion. And to the government, no matter how conservative they are, to the government, religion is in the realm of opinion. This is a matter of opinion, according to the government, whether you like it or not.
Before we can go forward in that, no shade again. Make sure y'all subscribe to Boss Man. I appreciate his objectiveness and his breakdowns. I'm learning to be more of a student of life, so I learn from people who actually know what the fuck they talking about. No shade. No matter what background they come from, if they walking in integrity and doing the right thing, I'm cool with it. But the scary part about this whole situation, at least to me, that is something that I'm also accepting as well as a possibility, so that I can make the necessary changes to protect myself and also live in my truth, is the fact that those individuals who have that opinion are doing all they can to become or trying to believe that they have the power to literally manifest their fears in reference to the eradication of queer people and people of color, or what is considered the less desirables of society. And we have seen this historically around the globe. A lot of the same lingo, a lot of the same verbiage and signs and wonders are kind of echoing the same sentiments of the Nazi regime. And if we again look at the dark ages of the church, these individuals have slain hundreds of millions of people in the name of the Lord. And it sounds like they want to do it again. Because if I'm not mistaken, I believe it was Vaught, if I'm not mistaken. If not, I know it was somebody from the Heritage Foundation, please charge to my head, not my heart, who literally said that this second civil war, this second revolution in this country is going to remain bloodless if the left allows it to be. These people are ready for blood, because that is the only manifestation of God that they know, destruction. And they're so consumed with that idea of destruction that they don't even know that they're destroying themselves, which is why, again, the motherfuckers who were operating in fear and ignorance, who voted for this to happen, you're now getting what it is that you unfortunately and unconsciously deserve. Welcome to the understanding of the law of cause and effect, which is why you gotta make sure and make certain on what it is that you know and what you say and speak over your life. Because in this age of Aquarius, the universe don't give a fuck about if you playing or not. It only operates in your energy, and your energy is going to always be yes, and it is so. Yes, and it is done, whether you agree to it or not, unconsciously or consciously. the more aware you are, the more deliberate of a creator you can be. But we're going to get into that a little bit later. Because again, I like how Boss Man is going to hit a lot of points and even some shit that I didn't even know. But anyway, let's continue with his breakdown. Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you.
If you see this right here, this goes on for 23 pages worth of executive orders. He even ensured the federal workers had to come back in the office, right? And we can't forget about plastic straws.
And eggs and shit.
Oh my God. Can't forget about them plastic straws, man. But what I do want to point out is that he has provided red meat to you all, to the conservatives, and as a form of smoke and mirrors. And I do want to make sure I point out the smoke and mirrors, because I want to point out the smoke and mirrors, for instance, on like the two genders thing, for instance, because that's what conservatives are really worried about.
Watch
For
this.
instance,
Listen,
right?
listen to this.
That's all you guys are really concerned about. It's like the two genders thing. Okay, there's only two genders. Okay, well, let me ask you guys a question. Let's think objectively for a second. When you guys fill out a federal form, say W-2, W-4, excuse me. When it asks you about your gender, how many boxes do you see? Don't you only see male or female? Right. When you fill out an application on an I-9 form, don't you normally only see two boxes? And maybe you might see a third, and that third might say other. That's a prime example of giving you guys red meat to chew on, to give y'all some shit that really don't fucking matter in the first place.
Boom. Just wanted to say that real quick. That's all. Go ahead.
Because the government was already only doing male or female in the first place. I'm going to put some shit in an executive order that's already happening in the first place. Somebody's going to say, boss man, you got up on the panel and you said that there were 72 genders. You corrected, shout out to R Payne. You corrected R Payne on the fact that there was 72. I did. Did you check my source? The source was not the federal government. It wasn't. It wasn't. The people who actually cared or was actually concerned about there being more than just like all these plethora numbers of genders is predominantly the people who were predominantly non-binary. And those people represent a minority within a minority within a minority within a minority of the LGBTQIA+ community. You're really just being honest.
And again, like I've stated, where is the proof? The overwhelming amount of proof. Because the way that these people have been speaking about queer people, especially trans, is making motherfucking men, making fathers show up for their kids more. Damn, it's a shame that it took trans people or motherfucking drag queens reading at your children's school for your ass to actually show up as a damn dad and show some investment. You be missing the football games and shit, and the soccer games and shit, and the damn cheerleading games and shit. But yet y'all right down there. But yet there weren't overwhelming amounts of information, of evidence, of videos. Again, if this is really happening and we're being objective, there will be countless videos to where it's, look, Bubs, look, boss man, look at all these videos. What do you say about this? What do you say about this? Then we would have to look at it objectively. And if everything that you are providing to us is true, because we're objective, we have to be able to receive that new knowledge. We understand that. Y'all struggle. with accepting the new knowledge. It's just crazy. Wow.
But the government already recognized just two genders anyway. It wasn't the government was putting on the birth certificate anyway.
Baby,
male
they
or
was
female.
playing in y'all face.
M or F. Damn it. But on that executive order, however, there was other stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Smoke and mirrors. Give you another example. When it comes to the one that was regarding the one that's ending racial indoctrination.
Listen to this, y'all.
K through 12. This is an ambiguous one, or just a nebulous one if I have never heard of it. Where
Shameless plug, girl. That's how the universe works, girl. I ain't even got to be in your shit.
Messy.
No shade. No shade. I ain't got to be in your shit to be on your shit. Okay, see how the universe works. Continue.
Now I'm going to show an example of this, and then we'll get back to the material, because this is something to me that I find very, very peculiar. Okay. Now this is an example of putting something in writing, and just because it's in writing doesn't mean that it's true. Okay, so parents trust American schools to provide their children with a rigorous education and to instill a patriotic admiration for our incredible nation, and the values for which we stand. That is not the purpose of schools. That's some Hitler shit, bitch. In recent years, however, parents have witnessed schools indoctrinate their children in radical anti-American ideologies while deliberately blocking parental oversight.
Since we're talking about children, I changed the music.
I live in what you would consider a purplish state. And I'm able to log into my kids' portal just fine and see anything I want, the teacher's notes, and everything. So it really honestly depends on the actual school system or this school, I guess, district, and how piss poor it might be. I wonder where some of that's happening at. I wonder which states those are.
And if it's piss poor, just imagine how much more piss poor it's gonna be once the Department of Education is changed. There's a saying: if you want to hide something from a nigga, put that shit in a book. Which is why I love to read. Not just books, but people too.
Such an environment operates as an echo chamber in which students are forced to accept those ideologies without question or critical examination. In many cases, innocent children are compelled to adopt identities as either victims or oppressors solely based on the skin color, on their skin color, and other immutable characteristics. In other instances, young men and women are made to question whether they are born in the wrong body and whether to view their parents and their reality as enemies to be blamed. These practices not only erode critical thinking, but also sow division, confusion, and distrust, which undermine the very foundations of personal identity and family unity. This talks about the issue of, yes, bringing up white privilege, the issue of parental authority and anti-discrimination laws. Yes, females, male and female, and oh, here we go. For example, steering students towards surgical and chemical mutilation without parental consent or involvement, or allowing males access to private spaces designated for females may contravene federal laws that protect parental rights, including the Family Education Rights and Privacy Act, FERPA, and the protected rights and sex-based equality and opportunity, including Title, what is that? Title 9 of Education Amendments of 1972. Similarly, demanding acquiescence to white privilege or unconscious bias actually promotes racial discrimination and undermines national unity. So you mean by teaching them what actually happened in history, that it basically promotes what critical thought actually is?
So again, or how I interpret it to be, or to break it down even further in layman's terms, hood nigga, not I know trap nigga, but you know, nigga terms. The fact that the truth has come out and it's time to deal with accountability, instead of dealing with accountability in the form of reconciliation, which means that you are genuinely sorry, authentically sorry, and you will do whatever needs to be done in order to change it. And the oppressed groups of people have been saying it the entire time: allow us to be a part. That's it. We're not trying to take away from y'all. We're not trying to be better than y'all. We want to be part of the fold, to be a part of this American dream for real. But y'all don't see it in the realm of reconciliation. Y'all see in the realm of vengeance, because that's how y'all would operate if it was you. And even though oppressed groups of people have been fucked up, and no shade, energetically have a right to exact vengeance if they motherfucking wanted to go down that dark hole, because again, where your ass is on the board, they can meet you there as well. But instead of going down that route, which is destructive, why not go down a route that is more transformative? And Christ was all about transformative work, not destructive work. We're gonna learn a little bit of something later on, because I learned something about this little issue between Jesus and Paul that I never knew about. My pastor never spoke on that. Creflo Dollar and TD Jakes and all them motherfuckers who I need to bite them ain't never spoke on that before. But let's continue.
Fine. Okay, so this is a nice way of basically saying that we're going to essentially control what is being taught, which to some degree, okay, cool. But there's something, because this is being said, there is something that is not being said. But you know what I find is also funny? Is that schools were never involved in sending kids, or involved in facilitating, what do they call it? Chemical what? Surgical mutilation. Social transition does not include chemical or surgical mutilations. So social transition is going to be okay in schools. It's this part right here: chemical or surgical mutilation. But schools were never ever doing that. Schools were never ever facilitating chemical or surgical mutilation. Schools were never ever. If you had just applied a little bit of common sense,
thank you,
it would have been medical malpractice for a medical facility to perform such a thing on a child or a minor without the parents present, and some representative from the school saying, "Hey, we're just gonna allow this to happen."
Right.
And then they would have required payment. How would they have gotten paid without, like, you just hear a thing from Fox News, hear a thing from Newsmax, hear a thing from the Bronzer in Chief, the Cheeto in Chief, the Agent Orange in command, hear a thing from them, and then start where they said and then ask questions and walk it back. Does it make sense?
Hell to the fuck no. It don't make sense, to the point to where now they're regretting it. Y'all talking about trans people regretting transitioning. Well, I guess we gonna see who really regretting what. Because it seems like there's more people that regret their decisions voting for Trump than trans people who regretted their transition. Or gay people who regretted being gay. Okay, fuck around and find out.
No. But the fact that they had to define social transition to suggest and say it does not include chemical or surgical difference from what they were talking about up here says that they will still allow social transition to be the norm in schools. It's just that it just needs to be with parental.
Do you see what happens when we read for real? Smoke a blunt, bitch. Put on some damn lo-fi music in the background or something nice and soft and read to yourself and make it entertaining to get through it. I read out loud all the time, make different voices and shit to keep my ass intrigued and interested in what I'm reading. That's a cheat code. Boss man said he'd be up late trying to gather information. A lot of those niggas over there don't do that at all. And the fact that there's so many of them is scary. But here it is, like he said, giving people meat to chew on. Y'all sorry about the trans shit, that the trans shit low-key still gonna motherfucking happen. But the scary part, like I said again, is that now there are Christian people who are in positions of power, who also gonna believe their ideologies and opinions about the homosexuals, about the LGBT, and black people, and other groups that are not white, male, or Christian. But see, the thing is, since y'all was saying that was gonna happen to us anyway, we just returning the favor and saying that again. Welcome to the fish fry. We going to hell together. Are you ready? Is you ready or is you ready?
Gotcha. Gotta read the fine print, y'all. But so as long as they can hit you with the hold on. So as long as they can hit you with the pretty letters up here saying ending radical indoctrination in K through 12 schooling. Executive order by the megalomaniac. Hey, guess what? Caitlyn Jenner can still be called Caitlyn Jenner. And transgender people can still transition. And gay people can still be gay. The very thing that you're probably wanting as the most hateful version of Christians is that what the Bible and what the Levitical law may want and may call to be what? An abomination? What you're ultimately wanting is for them to be removed and eradicated and disposed of, is what you're wanting ultimately. And what you're wanting, you can't get. And the reason why they have to be very careful in this executive order with his big old magic marker is that if you went too far, there are laws, these pesky little things in place called discrimination laws that he can't just erase away, because an executive order does not hold a candle against a statute or a law.
We got some work to do.
But it's Trump's America now. People can come on out the woodwork and come on out the crown molding.
Like roaches.
You know, and just say that ultimately what the most radical Christians want ultimately is for people who represent the abomination that is spelled out in the Levitical listing, and the people who basically won't qualify to make it in heaven, they ain't gotta wait to go to Hades. They ain't gotta wait to go and meet fire. What you're wanting is the government basically to eradicate them for y'all. That's what y'all want, right? Because otherwise, why hate them so much?
Thank you.
And this right here is what infuriates me, because predominantly, I'm gonna zoom in just a little bit to show you. The reason why I focus on conservatives is because of stuff like this. Exit polling. Born again or evangelical Christians, 82%. I'm sorry, 82. So 27% yes. So 82 right here. Trump. It's safe to say that if you are Christian, if you're a Christian, you are conservative. If you're conservative, you are voting for majority, predominantly for Republican. And you're voting for the predominant party line. Now, you had some, okay, who crossed over, but for the most part, and Harris was Baptist. Which goes to show you that just because you are Christian to some degree, yes, you can still believe that people have the right to be able to choose. It just means that there are some Christians who believe that you should be Levitical when it so fits you. Which I've grown to understand why. Because in one part of Matthew, Jesus does say that he didn't come to do away with the old law.
Right.
He comes to fulfill it.
Correct.
But then he lists certain portions of the old law.
Listen to this part, y'all.
Are parenthetical, right? But not everything of the old law. So one could read it as only these are applicable and not all of them. But one could read it as he just pointed these things out because these were the ones that were most important to just kind of sort of pinpoint out to give as an example. If you were like just bringing up things, if you were just talking to somebody, right? Right? But then further along, as he's getting very irritated with the Pharisees and the Sadducees who were being petulant children in the crowd and being precocious in the crowd, mocking him in a sense. If you read the story a bit, he then says, "You know what? Fuck it. These are the two main commandments. Okay? And you can hang all those other shit that I just said. You can hang all the other prophets. You can hang all the other laws. You can hang all that up. These are the two commandments right here. These are two that are most important. All right? Love thy neighbor and love God for the most part.
Point blank period.
Some chapters later. So Jesus, in that same moment, whenever he's in the same book, but chapters apart from each other. In one chapter, he's uplifting the old law and says, "Hey, adultery is still adultery. You know, killing is still killing. You know this. You know, he's going down the list of what's still a thing, right?" But as he gets more and more irritated, I perceive he's being irritated. I'm just reading it for what the text shows. He just says, "You know what? Look," because they start asking questions. And I can probably see if you're in a crowd full of people, I can imagine that you're just irritated at this point because people aren't fucking getting it.
Thank you. Shit.
Well, what about this coin? Should you pay taxes, or should you pay a certain amount? And he's like, "Look, okay, give the shit that belongs to Caesar, okay? God don't care about this shit, okay? And give to God what belongs to God." Okay, they get out of my face. I mean, But it was the Pharisee and the Sadducees who was asking the question. And then shortly after all of that, here comes the Pharisees and Sadducees again. And finally he says, you know what? Woe to you motherfuckers, basically.
Yeah.
You scribe and Pharisee, you vipers. You close off heaven. You close off the path of heaven when heaven to others when you're not gonna make it your damn selves. He had enough with these people.
Projecting all
Sometimes you
type
have
of
to
fear and
make light
insecurity onto
of
others.
What is there? Okay, but I could see the reason why there's some confusion, because in one part of Matthew, he says he's maintaining it. He's just fulfilling it. But he does say that I'm fulfilling it up to the point of resurrection. But post-resurrection, it's just these two commandments, which would be love thy neighbor
and love God.
And love God. Now, I don't know what the heck the resurrection actually means. What I can tell you is that he landed on those last two commandments. That's for y'all to figure out.
Thank you.
This is what happens when essentially you will let your religion breed fester into the realm of politics. And you got people who think that this man is a fucking savior. You got people who think that this Tanner in chief, this bronze wearing, makeup wearing, goddamn
Cheeto dust, gold dust, orange dust,
taupe. Is it a taupe? Is it a toupee? It's not a toupee. It's not.
It's a horrible comb over.
We'll just say Rogaine eating motherfucker is somehow a messiah of some sort in all of his orange glory. Somehow.
Got that Simpson skin. The Simpsons.
I am the chosen one, he says.
I will never eat a Cheez-It again.
And here's the thing.
Unless
he's
it's white
not
cheddar.
Even Christian.
Of course not.
That has got to be the biggest slap in the face in the world. He's not even Christian.
Girl, his mama tried to warn y'all.
He's even said as much.
His mama tried to warn y'all. Warn us.
I dare any of you weaponizing Christians anyway to go look and see where he went to school. I won't say it here because I can't say it here. But go look and see where he went to school. And no, not his military school. After his military school. To me, this is prime example. And trust me, you ain't got to search hard on TikTok to find many people who are lamenting of their choices that they've made. People have lost their jobs. People are going to lose their jobs.
Oh, wow.
States aren't going to get FEMA funding, and some of them states are going to be red states. And I'm going to say it again. I said it before, and I said it again. I was right, and I'm still waiting on any one of y'all to come to me and tell me that I was right about the implementation of Project 2025 agenda. And I'm gonna keep asking about it every week that I mention this Agent Orange commander. I'm definitely gonna do so because I was told, as well as other people were told, that we were crazy for believing that Project 2025 was something that we didn't have to worry about because we were just fear-mongering because he denounced it. Of course, conveniently after he recognized that it was politically no longer expedient. This has been...
And before we finish with this last part, then we're going to be done, y'all. Shout out to y'all rocking with me at almost 4 in the morning. Listen, yeah. This is the time for the individuals who, again, told Boss Man, definitely told me that they was on the right side of truth and they knew what was going on. And that because I'm a fag, I don't have a dog in any fight in reference to life. Okay, so my thing is, I was waiting to see what the real kings, the real kangs, the real gods were going to do against the information. And again, we're on what, part 5, and nobody has really pulled up on the panel except Mr. Bennett. And again, that's why over here we give honor to all men who are objective, no matter where they are on the spectrum of sexuality. Doesn't fucking matter. It's about your character and your energy. He was the only one. Everybody else was either in the comment sections or was secretly watching. And I can understand you doing that to somebody outside the kingdom, somebody that you do consider your op. But to do that with somebody that is inside the kingdom, who obviously is trusted enough to have their own segment on the show, who has spoken in such a masculine way, in the way that he does, that was similar to my way, when I would start tapping into my masculine energy, the difference between me and him is the fact that motherfuckers want to put their hands on me. But with him, he sits there and says it on the platform, 5th time in this series, but more than that on the panel. And all of the men who are wise and witty have all failed against the objectivist. And the reason why he's able to call himself the objectivist is because he was able to accept the divine feminine energy within him that's in every human being, which means he can control his emotions and look at them as opposed to push away from them, like so many black men and black young boys are being taught to do, to turn their emotions off. There's going to be some emotions you're not going to be able to turn off. You may be able to escape a little bit, but eventually that motherfucker will find you. There is no baby mama or Nikki Parker ass, crazy ass woman in the world that can compare with what the truth is. And that truth will find you. But yet again, the universe blessed that platform with an individual who had to go through and face all the fears and insecurities that a lot of the niggas over there are afraid to face themselves, which is why with every example and scenario they give, it has to be a hypothetical or a fear-based scenario in their own mind of what they would do if that would have happened to them. But it's always the black sheeps and the odd people and the peculiar people who are the ones who walk in freedom, and walk in freedom so much that the individuals who claim to be free are more so jealous than being free in their own expression. But anyway, close us out, boss man.
Another edition of Religiosity Conundrum. You guys, you Christians, are in quite the pickle. I hope you learn from this one, although I'm afraid that you won't. Not to vote your religion. Vote what makes sense, as opposed to your religion. Not to hate based on your religion. So what? If your Old Testament tells you that certain things are abominations, yeah, and screwing your auntie is also an abomination, and standing in front of a donkey is as well. Okay, cool. There was a whole New Testament.
It's a lot of donkeys on YouTube, ain't it?
Doing things
and off
as well. And loving thy neighbor did not have contingencies on it. And if you read a little bit further, you'll also understand that Paul disagreed with Jesus.
Oh, yeah. Didn't know that.
Yes, he did. Maybe focus more on what the one you deified said, as opposed to the one who cometh after him, saying that I have been ordained to speak on behalf as the anointed one. Because the one who has been deified warned about people like Paul.
Whoo.
I've already said
And the way I interpret that is like this. It's better to listen to the individual who been through some shit and healed and survived and became better from it than the individual who is actually just trying to mimic this motherfucker. But when the reality of life comes, girl, they're the ones who don't know what the fuck they're doing, which is why they destroy themselves. Or in a deeper way, find out with that energy, that connection to God, source, universe, consciousness, whatever you call it, whatever you identify it with, or whatever you feel the vibration that it's asking you to call it, or guide or leading you to express it, that thing is always with you and it will never leave you nor forsake you. And as much as people say Christ laid his life down, he was murdered, but he was murdered on his own accord. He was able to be murdered and understood what was happening and accepted that fate, according to the narrative. But he was sure enough unalived. Let's not forget, if we're going to use that book about the story of the people choosing Barabbas over Jesus, and Barabbas was a known agent of chaos. Known agent of chaos. Y'all sit up here and talk about black women and baby mamas and welfare queens. Meanwhile, girl, motherfuckers inside the Donald Trump presidency has multiple wives and multiple children. Some of you niggas could never. Some women wish Elon Musk was their damn motherfucking baby daddy. They wouldn't have no problems. This shit is crazy to me. Y'all don't even understand how y'all have literally doomed your own black children. The ones you fought so hard to protect, you've low-key unconsciously through fear offered them up as fucking sacrifices. You have literally destroyed black children's futures by allowing this motherfucker to come in and do what the fuck he's doing to the Department of Education. Again, the one thing that our ancestors fought so hard to do, and you just willingly offered it up. All because you thought it was going to destroy the faggots and get rid of the fag logic and the fag theories and the fag experiences and stories and expressions and spectrums. That's the thing about hate. Hate is destructive to itself, especially when you operate in it too long and don't know how to get the fuck out. And the thing is, y'all have somebody on the screen right now who can help lead some of y'all niggas to the light. He's not the light in itself, but lead you towards the objective light. But y'all even afraid of this nigga. And it's gonna be a shame if a homosexual outside of the kingdom pointed this out and then y'all do something afterwards. But my thing is, if y'all do something afterwards, then it just proves that y'all were just using Boss Man. And even though Boss Man's future, I'm pretty sure, is going to be bright, probably brighter than any of some of those niggas on that panel, no shade, that he is still taking the time out of his busy life of being a husband, a father, an aspiring content creator, and whatever the fuck else he got going on in his life, to come and help some of you niggas. Because despite the shit that I'm pretty sure that these niggas feel about him, because again, I'm a eunuch, I know things. Especially when I pay attention to people's body language and what they say and shit like that, I know how to put things together. But even though there are people there that I know feel some type of way about him, I just gotta believe it, that they can still learn to. and benefit from this too. Kind of like how y'all, according to the narrative, chose Barabbas over Jesus. And he still on the cross said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Not, Father, come burn these bitches up. But anyway, let's continue. We're almost done.
That I'm not offering any more objective opinions or
Thank you.
objective, how do I put it? I'm not offering any more objective conclusions about my side of things until I see some more objectivity on the Republican side of things. And I mean that. So no, I'm not going to sit here and say, you know, any two-sided arguments about my side, because I didn't see that on y'all side.
Oh.
And for what is offered, much is required. I'm sorry. For what is wanted, much is required. And I've given enough. And so therefore, I'm going to fight fire with fire. Because from what I can tell, my side wasn't trying to come over here and destroy and dismantle and completely move outside the confines of the Constitution.
Exactly.
If you'd like to check me on it, that's perfectly fine. But before you check me on things, remember, I've offered you objectivity. You have yet to do so.
So that's very funny that, again, me and Bossman kind of share the same situation energetically. Because just like him, I went over to that platform being objective as I possibly can, but also standing my ground. But I realized you can't have real transformative conversations with people who are scared to do so, who are scared of change. And it, no shade, got me feeling like Michael Jackson again in Thriller eating popcorn, because now Boss Man, I gotta believe, is starting to become aware of that. Which is why he said, going forward, I'm not showing y'all no more objectivity on my end. I've done that. Now it's time for y'all to do what I have done. Y'all gonna have to break this shit down. It's more y'all than it is me. Y'all are many, we are one, in the words of Ermac. I just reversed it a little bit, because it's really the other way around, but damn, you know what I mean. Y'all can't come together as men. Okay, we're going to take 1 hour a day and we're going to delve into a chapter of this shit, and we're going to break this shit down and come together like Bible study and write our notes together and put everything together so that when y'all come up on the platform, you are not just speaking out of opinions and y'all's asshole. Y'all not spitting at the side of y'all neck. You can drop fact after fact and receipt after receipt. Kind of like how Boss Man did. Kind of like how I do over here on BubzDaGawd. So we're going to see what's going to happen in that particular red pill kingdom. Because, again, like Bossman said, the fallout has just begun. Excuse me. I told y'all, everybody about to know what it feel like to be a nigger, to be a fag, to be all that. White people too. We all about to feel it. The question is, what are you going to learn from it? Because we've offered reconciliation, but it seemed like y'all just really want war. And if war is unfortunately the answer, I need y'all to understand that the universe is on our side. Which is why we practice peace so much, because when there is no peace left, then it will be everything and all things at one time, simultaneously, in different realms, just all over the spectrum, around the world, I, on your ass. No homo. But anyway, I just wanted to come real quick and just do that. Again, shout out to Boss Man for doing his objective work. We need more of that, especially in this climate. It's okay to be terrified. It's okay to be scared. even if you voted for Trump and you feel some sort of guilt and shame, I would suggest that you find a way to love yourself through it and then actually come together in community, because I do believe in reconciliation. I believe in restoration. I believe in redemption. We are all able to be redeemed no matter what. Niggas talk about hoes so much, but yet Jesus stood in the gap for a hoe. Did he not? Only time y'all stand in the gap for a hoe is if a hoe offer you some nookie cookie, some punani. And we've heard last night that y'all are opportunists and will take it if it's given to you. Because you know, when men cheat, we cheat physically and regret it mentally. Girl. Anyway, y'all enjoy the rest of y'all's morning. Make sure y'all leave y'all thoughts and concerns down below. Make sure y'all subscribe to the Objectivist podcast. Okay, again, the link down below. Hit that like button if you like the vibe. Hit the subscribe button and click the notification bell so that you can get all of my updates for my edited and live content. Again, we're dropping chapter 3 this Saturday, and then I'll be going live afterwards, because that will be the end of the project. So I would definitely love to hear y'all thoughts. Check out chapter 1 and 2, please. Okay, and until next time, everybody, enjoy the rest of y'all's morning. Peace.
I can be anything I choose in this round. We are a sound vibration too deep to tell. Just so you know, I'm the best.